Hey, what's going on? How are you today, Caitlyn?
We gotta do the intro.
Oh, we're going to do the intro right now. For everybody that doesn't know us, we're the real deal.
I'm Caitlyn.
And I'm Jason Pippinger.
So we're the real deal with Caitlyn and Jason.
What?
And for those of you who don't know, I'm a realtor, not a realtor, with Rockstar Realty.
And I'm a lender with Jason Pippinger. That's me. No, I'm not. I'm a lender with Prime Lending. Hence the cup, right?
Yes.
Anyhow, so Caitlyn and I, after last week's video, were brainstorming on good content that we can drop that is relevant, that our viewers want to learn about and hear about. And so Caitlyn spent a little bit of time on IG, for all you old people, that's Instagram, to figure out what those questions are. So we're just going to go through those.
Yeah, so I asked a poll, if anybody has any real estate related questions, what are they, and send them in. So the first one I have is, should I buy or continue to rent?
Wow, great question. All the time, a lot of times you'll hear people talk about it from a holistic standpoint, holistic meaning encompassing your whole financial world, what you should do in a situation like this. And it really depends is the right answer. It depends. Depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you are, if you have the mindset that when you buy a property, then you're essentially taking money out of your right pocket and putting it in your left pocket. Meaning, what that means is this: you buy a property, you pay the mortgage for a long period of time. After that period of time, it's accruing in value, and it also you're buying the mortgage down, so there's equity that's available that you can borrow from later on. It's like a savings account. But when you have maintenance and responsibilities on all that house, whereas when you're renting, you're taking those responsibilities and pushing them onto somebody else. Your AC breaks, your lawn needs to be mowed, your pool needs to be cleaned, whatever. You just call your landlord up and complain about it, and they come do it, depending on how your lease is drafted. The downside with a lease from a financial standpoint is, or renting, is if I own a property and you're renting from me, you're paying my mortgage. It's a great deal for me, the landlord. If you're trying to put yourself in a financial situation to where you're growing wealth, then renting may not be the best decision.
So it's really a lifestyle thing.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle thing, absolutely. If you see a house as an asset and you want to add that to, you have a 401k through your employer, you have some stocks, you got some
maybe a Roth
currency,
IRA.
so yeah, Roth IRA.
I love those.
What's that, the Roth?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, there's
So
a
it's
lot.
like a 401k with after-tax money.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty awesome deal. We can talk about that too.
Yeah.
But if you look at any kind of digital currency or anything like that that you invest in, well, you can look at a house the same way. You're just parking your money over here for some point in the future.
Well, that was a great answer, because that's true. It's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
Because people want to say, oh, you need a house all day, every day, but they forget that maybe somebody doesn't want a house. Maybe somebody doesn't want those responsibilities. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't care.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
people in New York, not New York, like the city. That's what I meant. Like not specifically that city, but like in the city.
Right.
They rent.
And there are hybrid models. For instance, you could have your real estate professional find you a double, a duplex. Why is that important? Because then you're the landlord, you're having somebody else pay your mortgage, and you're living for free or cheaper than what it would cost you to rent something.
Yeah, because you rent out the other half.
Yeah.
For sure. That's a really
Do you know that we can use projected income, meaning income that somebody may receive in rent, future income, toward qualifying? Meaning, like, let's say you make $2,000 a month and you want to buy a double, and the projected income is $1,000. We can use a portion of that as your income.
You're making $3,000 a month.
Right.
Oh wow.
And so that actually helps your buying power and able to buy a house.
Lender hacks. Life hacks with a lender.
But I have a lot of first-time home buyers that are just getting out of college and getting to their career, and a lot of them maybe get a salary and they're moving on next phase of their life, but they're not married yet, or they are married or engaged, but they don't have a lot of need right? Like
Gotcha.
they're working a lot and they just need a place to really crash or sleep. They don't have a family yet, is what I'm trying to allude to. I always recommend, like, you should look at a double. Because
Yeah.
once you have that asset, back to a financial standpoint, once you have that asset, you just always have it. And then at some point you want to start a family or whatever, you move, and then you retain that, then you rent out both sides, and you're building a portfolio.
And some people will love to do that, and some people are like, that's not for me.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's more on the entrepreneurial side.
that'd be my side.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be for me, but I know a lot of people that would be like, there ain't no way I'm doing that. I'd rather just rent. So the next question I have, let's go with, someone asked what 100% financing means in relation to like VA loans, maybe like USDA, all that fun stuff. So do you really need only $0, zero down, and are there any other fees?
Yeah, dude, that is a notification on my email. That's not what I was gonna say, but that's an amazing question because I can't believe somebody asked that because most people just make assumptions and they don't clarify. 100% financing refers to no down payment. That does not mean there's no money associated with buying a house. For instance,
Common misconception.
you have closing costs. Closing costs are your escrows, your taxes, your insurances. You pay your taxes and insurances a year in advance, so you're covered for the entire year. You have your title work. You have to pay an attorney to actually do the documents, do a search on the property to make sure that it can be sold, right? That legally can be sold. Just because somebody says, yeah, you buy my property that they inherited, they got 3 sisters, they all own a portion of the property. One party can't sell it without everybody else's consent. Attorneys go and they figure all this stuff out, right? Title attorneys. So you have that, you have lender fees. Sometimes you have lender fees, sometimes you don't have lender fees. Like for instance, I'm a veteran, I don't charge other veterans any kind of a lender fee.
Yeah.
I waive them.
And that's the thing about lender shopping too, is you can go around and I would like you to speak maybe a little bit more about that. Like, can people shop around loans? You know,
Yeah.
do you recommend it?
I would.
Because
I'm not saying you can't, and I'm not saying you can. What I'm suggesting is this. Before you even select a lender, you should talk to your realtor. And
who they recommend in your area?
who they recommend, because they work all day, every day with.
You might want to skip that ad. We have a shirtless dude talking.
Yeah, well, no, I just have stuff running in the background. As Caitlyn mentioned earlier, that's what happens when I buy the premium package.
Yeah, I have a text from a client real quick.
Okay, we'll do that while I chit chat. So anyway,
that's real estate life.
So what you should always do is you should talk to a real estate professional because they work with lenders all day, every day, and then they know what lenders are really good at doing originating mortgages, and then there are lenders that are so good at originating mortgages. So that can accelerate that process and get you to the closing table on time and as agreed upon in a smooth fashion. We got off the topic of what was it? 100% finance.
Yeah.
So back to that real quick.
So, like, I'm a client.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a loan.
Yep.
And VA.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, well, what do I have to pay? Like, how much money do I have to have then?
That's a really good question too. That's another depends is the answer. Depends on the house, where it's located, what parish, if you're in Louisiana, what county, for everywhere else in the world, is it located in? The tax ratings are different in each one of those municipalities. So it depends, right? That determines kind of what the cost is, because you're paying for your taxes a year in advance. Your insurances, if you're on the coast of Florida or Louisiana, or if you're in the Ozarks, well, you probably have flood insurance in Louisiana and Florida, mandatory, and in the Ozarks you're probably not going to, right? As an example, all these costs go into the cost of a property, to buy that property, right?
So, going off of that, then what is a cost that you have seen in this area? If somebody's looking right now, they're VA, maybe they're buying a first-time home, maybe like it's about $230,000. You know, what are they looking at?
Okay, that's a really good question. So, real quick, 100% financing means no down payment. what you're left with is your closing costs. Closing costs, as we've talked about, taxes, insurances, title work, lender fees if they charge any. So in addition to that, you have upfront mortgage insurance or a funding fee is what it's called for VA. What that is you're paying, they charge you a percentage of the loan amount up front, and then you don't have mortgage insurance for the life of the loan, right? So there's a lot of benefits with VA. It's pretty awesome. But what a cost would be?
Let's write this down. Let's get it.
$200,000 house.
Let's say it's $230. It's first time home.
$230.
It's a veteran.
Let's see.
Just ballpark. I do actually
I'm
have somebody
ballparking.
who's looking. They're not looking in this state, but
230. That would be. Now this is kind of
intense
pretty
math.
specific to New Orleans, Greater New Orleans area specifically. Because I'd have to look up all this information if it wasn't. Let's see. And we're going to do.
Intense math.
Right. Now, this is assuming we're not going to have no lender fee. Should I add in an appraisal?
Yeah, but
Okay,
we need an appraisal.
So
let's talk about that
yeah,
too.
so closing costs typically do not include appraisals or inspections, right? That is paid outside of closing. That means paid before you close. And then on a loan estimate or something like that you get from your lender may have, for mine specifically, it'll have that fee on there for the appraisal. The inspector, you pay the inspector directly. Well, my appraisal company requires that to be paid in advance. So even though that's on your loan estimate, you're paying in advance, so you get credited back. So it's actually a wash. So I have my insurances, my taxes, I have my inspection, I have my, appraisal. You are looking at roughly $9,000.
$9,000. So it's not free.
No, it's not free.
And a lot of people think that it is free. It's a common misconception.
Yeah, it is. So 100% financing refers specifically to the down payment required, not any of the fees associated with that. Now, with that said, we might as well talk about this. Seller paid contributions, or people call them concessions.
Not popular right now.
It's not popular right now at all because of the market. However, when the market shifts, it's common, not common, it's more common depending on where you're located and how the market is, for the seller to offset some of those costs for the buyer, meaning they could absorb a portion of that. But like you said, that's dictated by the market and what's going on. Right now, that is not a common occurrence.
No. Right now we're in what's called, as most people call it, seller's market. So seller has picked, you're seeing 20, 30 offers on a property. I mean, I just listed one and we had like 10, and it was crazy, like going through them, because she's like, I don't know what to pick. I don't know what to do. Can you explain all this? Because some people have contingencies and all that stuff, which goes into one of the questions I was asked is, why do I need a realtor? Which is,
can I answer that?
Yeah.
Because they're licensed. That's why you need one. Because they're experts in keeping you out of trouble and protecting you when you're under contract with somebody. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
People come to me like, hey, I'm going to save some money and I'm not going to do this. And can you handle this for me? Yeah, sure. You want me to draft a contract that I'm not licensed to draft? Yeah, I can do that. You want me to try and enforce something that a non-licensed person drafted? Sure. Good luck.
Yeah.
So the answer is no. I'm not going to do it because that's not what I do as a profession. I'm going to say call Caitlyn.
Yeah. No, that's a big thing because people are like, I don't want to pay for realtor fees. Okay, well then you can go ahead and draft a contract. You can go ahead and do this. You can go ahead and do your own marketing, and then you can find a way to put it on the MLS.
That's a really good point. I didn't even touch on. I was looking at the legalities and the risk standpoint, but
it's a lot of work.
What if you work as a nurse and you work overnight? And then
you want to sell your house?
You're trying to sell your house. Oh, I'm off during the day. Well, you're trying to sleep because you got to work at night, and people are calling you going, I want to come see the house. So your house has to be pristine, immaculate all the time. Let's say you have 2 kids and a husband, and husbands are always filthy, right? Leaving dirty drawers everywhere.
My boyfriend would beg to differ, but he begged to differ. He'd be like, I'm not the best thing when she is. But
okay, there are exceptions to everything. So anyway, so he, so then you got somebody that wants to come by and look at your house. You got your house all squared away. You call your husband. Hey, you guys take the kids. Bring them down to the park. The people walk in. What if they don't? What if they don't? No call, no show. What if they tell you to come and they don't? And you sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. When you're trying to sleep, you should be sleeping to get ready for work.
Yeah.
And then they don't call. You know what it's called? Tire kickers.
What's that?
A tire kicker.
Yeah, I've never heard that expression.
It's an old school thing. Anyway, so it's when you seem like you're interested in something, but you're never going to follow through on it. So then now they're wasting your time and everything. And a real estate professional can
save you
a lot of time and money on that. And time is money. So
yeah, a lot of people ask me like, what would you say would be like the main thing? Like, why would you want a realtor? Well, you'd want a realtor for peace of mind, really, for peace of mind. And like, selling or buying a home is going to be very stressful, but with a realtor, it's like way less stressful because somebody's handling the biggest parts of it.
Well, how many times does somebody buy or sell a house in their life?
I mean, it could be once.
Yeah, it could be once, usually like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Over 40 years.
Yeah.
So why not work with somebody who does 40 transactions in 1 year versus you trying to fumble through it because the guidelines changed from the last time you did it 10 years ago and you don't know what's going on.
Exactly. So.
That was a good one. What else you got?
Well, how long have we been filming? We've been filming for quite a bit,
Yeah,
right?
we have.
Yeah. So we covered 3 big questions. Why do I need a realtor? Should I buy or continue to rent? And what 100% financing actually means.
That's right.
And I think we can cut it off there, but
Awesome.
you can go ahead and comment below or drop us, some questions in our inboxes, emails.
And we can add those to next week's show.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week. So any questions that you have, leave them down below or DM us. I'm sure you can DM me. I don't know if you don't do Instagram, do you?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought you knew me.
No, I didn't know me. No. I'll drop both of our information below so that way you can do that. But that is all for this time.
Awesome. Well, Caitlyn and Jason
Out.
with the real deal. Bye-bye.